I'm not a politician, I'm not a journalist, I'm not an influencer, but I'm damn shit good what I'm doing. I'm doing car inspections, and what I want to say to people, right? Everyone, when it comes to buying used cars, just simply believes in the Consumer Rights Act, believes in a seller, right? And goes and buys the vehicle and makes the one simple mistake, right? Because when you're buying a car, you're asking questions. Is the car in good condition, you know? It's just like you asking seller to lie to you, right? And obviously they will say that to you, you know? But you have to remember, you are buying a used piece of junk in a way, which condition overall you don't know. Even we have a law, democracy in this country, and court system, justice system, and you would assume you do, right? But yes, but everyone lies through the teeth, right? And for you to go through all these systems what I just mentioned will cost you an awful lot of money, and you will have to prove a lot of stuff. Remember, in this world, it's easier to lie than prove your innocence or to prove that other person is guilty. Or, in other words, you have a valid case to take somebody to court. You will have to pay somebody to solicitor to analyze that and to see if you have a valid case, you know, and to put a right point of the real terminologies to put a claim through on which you're actually basing your claim. Everyone in the UK or wherever or in any country where you have sort of consumer rights, right? Those consumer rights more protects the goods and services which are new, which you purchased. You know, when it comes to second-hand market on anything you buy and sell, it's wishy-washy, right? For example, the condition, let's just say visual. One person will say it's excellent, one person will say it's good, and you would come and look at particular, let's say it's a car, right? A shit, because it's got dents, it's got some other stuff, right? So everything has a price, everything has some sort of value, and obviously as a tendency in a consumer market is everyone flocks to the cheapest junk, right? And they would assume the cheapest junk, because it's the cheapest, it will be the best, and you just flock like flies to the shit, right? And that's what by nature what happens, you know. And then you expect, because you don't have money to pay for the decent quality goods or car, right? Well, at least to the where is expected market price, right? Where you cutting corners. So, and then you buy something like that on a real presumptions, you know, and then you assume the car is shit, right? Or in your imagination, not in satisfactory quality. But this is what you have purchased, right? This is how capitalism and economy works, right? If you buy something cheap below market value, it will be shit, right? And you will pay in reality twice. The people who don't have money pay twice. You know, it's very simple principle, life principle, you know. If you're buying cheap quality goods, if you're buying substandard services from not qualified people, you know, you will have substandard job. That's just, you know, you can't just exist in a false pretensions that it's not true, right? You're just lying to yourself. And what I want to say, my job is to assess the vehicle. It's not a health check, you know. It's not a AA or RAC inspection. It's not quick fit health check. It's not Harvard health check. It's not just a random health check at the main dealer, you know. It's a specific steps what I developed and blueprinted and written down on the system, what everyone on a car exam platform have to follow. And it's designed to fail. It's designed to fail, not to fail the car, but it's designed to find specific long-term problems, abnormal issues. Every car is treated, it has a disease, have a problem. But by nature, every used car will have problems. When you buy, you want to find out how many, and would that be satisfactory for your standards? Because every used car will have, you know, and every used car seller will say there's nothing wrong with the car. I saved so many people from evil sellers, right? Where they've been selling car on a false presumptions, you know, and the customer has a clear requirement about they been in a assumption they're buying a good described vehicle, where reality, a seller simply was end of the month, the car is shit, right? By my standard, by car examiner standard, it's just shite, you know. But because the seller wants to get a bonus, he just, and I told these people, right, this vehicle should be sold privately. It doesn't meet minimum satisfactory standard requirements to sell it, you know. So, and it was a Chinese couple or Japanese couple, you know, really good people, really honest, you know. And you can see when you're discussing the report with them after the inspection, they don't have a faintest idea. They're standing so far away from mechanics, you know, from the trade reality, what's going on in the market. They don't have a clue. And these poor people, thanks God, right, they have selected inspection, and I was on it, you know, obviously, and I explained reality, what's going on. Obviously, I didn't grasp the seller, right, because I know what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to bribe me too, right? But this is what happens. I deal with this, and we deal with this every single day, you know. And this is not just inspection. Everything starts about communication. Who books the inspection? Notes on a job. Then obviously when the inspector accepts the job, the notifications are sent to all parties about arrival times, right? When I go to, or any of inspectors goes to the seller, it builds the portfolio, it builds the environment scenario, where they are, how the premises look, who works there, how things are organized, how the cars are parked in that car park, what quality cars are there, how they treat the inspector, the way they will treat the inspector, the way they will treat you, right? And regards to overall situation, then once you do the car, you can judge that place by the car you have inspected, because that mostly will be the everyday standard and that's how they would treat that car, and the overall condition of the car will also identify what condition or how selective the seller is and what sort of types they're buying, right? For you as a buyer, you just simply have to understand used car market is like a garbage recycling plant, right? You buy the car, you drive, you give it to the broker, or you trade it in, it goes to the auction, seller buys it. Good sellers get them straight away from dealers, or they get the first hand on good cars from auctions, the big sellers. So there will be certain groups of people who will get the best cars, so, and how that qualifies, it will have full service history, the main dealer the best, right? So these will be the best cars with both keys. And then you have a mix and match service center histories, random, which is wishy-washy, or you alternatively want not a dealer's, but a specialist, brand specialist service only, let's say, for instance. But I haven't seen anything like that where just a BMW specialist will stamp the book only, and it will only one place, right? It's not a reality, because people sometimes change where they live, and obviously so is there certain other things accordingly to the nature changes, But then you have to stay away. If it doesn't have service history, just don't buy and entertain the business. Don't buy. If you got half of the service history, just don't buy the car. It's already showing this shit. Every used car has problems. There will be problems, right? If it doesn't have both keys and doesn't have service history, don't buy the car. If it doesn't have a V5C, don't buy the car. That indicates the most of the stuff. If it doesn't have, 99% it will be straight from auction, random general auction, which you just want to avoid. It's just shit. Somebody is well been recovered because of the debts. Normally, if it doesn't have a logbook, there is a reason why it didn't have it. It was a repossession or something like that. Rarely, mostly people have logbooks, right? Or maybe it was an insurance write-off, or maybe it was a stolen, recovered, something like that. In a normal process, in a normal vehicle, not clean car, sales ready car will have a V5C, service history, both keys, right? Service done, timing belt done, oil transmission oil done, depends on the age and the mileage at that specific vehicle, at what point of the age, or wherever, not wherever, at what points of age and mileage, and where it is regards to the next service requirements, So this is what you want. And don't entertain, like I said, part of the service history, no service history, one key. You already know it's shit, because remember, you buy a used car. Every used car have problems. People sell them because they has problems, or the car gave them problems, or they spent too much money on that vehicle recently, and they just want to get rid of it. And if you are stupid enough to believe the seller and you think, the law protects you, no one gives a shit about your law. No one gives a shit about your Consumer Rights Act, right? They will sell you the car, and you can go screw yourself, on your false pretenses, assumptions, They will just, if it's a business whose trade practices are like that, right? They will, and because you just decided that potentially there was nothing wrong with the car, but it's just shit. Worn and ready, dirty. It needs a service. It needs the tires. It needs the pads. And you bought something like that, they will not take your car back, Or, then you can just go and cry, right? Remember, none of these cars are sales ready. They're not prepped. They don't look at the vehicles. They will buy something more likely where the vehicle had a fault. They will fix that fault, and will sell that car. You know, that's just the blind reality, hard, harsh reality, and the sellers just driving you around the bend, you know, because they know average seller is stupid, right? They think they just when average consumer, when he goes to buy, they just drizzling, you know, they just, because you just need something now, you know. But you need to understand, you can't buy a used car because you just want it and I need it quick and I need it tomorrow. It's a used car, you know. And like I said, every used car comes with problems, you know. And to find a good used car, first of all, you need to find it starts from the good seller. It starts from your questions. It starts from the full service history. It starts from both keys. You know, it starts from the advertisement, right? I've seen cars sold by dealers which are shocking, with engine faults, all the electrical system, diagnostic faults, issues, not ready, damaged bodywork, you know, it's just, it's real minefield out there, you know. And I look at a car, I understand I will find problems, you know, and I tell this straight to sellers, look, I will find problems. The main thing of the inspection is to understand how many problems they are, right? That overall condition, you know, as long as those issues are related to the age and mileage, right? And the vehicle is safe to be on the road, you know, it's okay to have something, you know. It will always be something. It ain't gonna be perfect. It's whether the one car will have too many dings or too many scratches, or one car would great bodywork but will have a cigarette butt burn on a seat, or something scratch on a dashboard, or maybe not perfect LCD display, or maybe it will not work air conditioning, you know. There's certain things you can, always something, or the one car will not have done timing belt. There will always be something where you can negotiate and get the best price. That is the point of inspection. So we protecting you because we look at the vehicle as we would be buying that vehicle for ourselves, right? That is the biggest difference between somebody just randomly does the inspection, ticks the boxes, or we have a rigid guidelines what the vehicle have to pass through, you know. It picks up head gaskets, any running issues, because once the ground checks are done, vehicle's left running. On average, it runs about 45 minutes. Then it's a one diagnostic scan to read all the faults initially. It's saved. Then it's a road test, depends on the inspection package, but let's say it's between 10 to 15 minutes. Hard road test. Diagnostic scan is carried out. So the vehicle is put through the rigid test, you know, harsh test, check deliberately for specific things, you know, the ball joints, stuff like that, you know, where if there are issues, they will come up, you know. And you rather want inspector to break down in that car, because it happens. Water pump snaps, accessory dry belt snaps, warning light comes on, car goes in a limp mode on the road test. Seller was saying there was nothing wrong with the car, and obviously there are things where they are right and they're not. You can see when you're building a portfolio, you can see who they are, how they act, right? Everyone, salesperson will act like the vehicle is way better than they actually are. You know, it's just reality, and we ain't stupid, right? So there are natures like you road test on a harsh road test, been left running, it starts overheating. It goes in a limp mode, it starts misfiring, it's got an EGR fault coming up, you know, pending, you know. So this is the thing, you measure your steps in a buying process because you're buying a used car, and you rather allow inspector us to break down in the vehicle rather than you going home spending 10-20 grand or £1,000 on a car. It doesn't matter how much the car costs. It's always cheaper to double check, to double measure, to protect yourself. Inspection is for the price of the battery. it's half price of what the solicitor will charge you. Don't be smart ass. Everyone now thinks in the UK, everyone knows consumer rights. You know, it's a consumer law. There is many situations how it can be construed, perceived, and laid out because it's a consumer law, right? So that means there are something in between. There are always circumstances we are building up and against. It's not because you think you have a right. There are circumstances on which you bought this vehicle, what's been described to you. If you've been told there is a fault, your consumer law for that thing ain't gonna apply. You know, if you've been told it's a shit car, you bought it, it's your problem, there's nothing you can do because you agreed it's shit, right? So this is the thing, there's always circumstances and it could lead to consequences, right? But it's not a straightforward, I have consumer rights. The car have to be in satisfactory condition. You will buy a car, like I said, tires, worn pads, the discs, there's not service done. It's still satisfactory condition. Because you didn't want to spend any money or ask somebody to help you to check the vehicle and you bought it, it is your problem, right? So be smart. We work for you. We have a dedicated blueprint system to make sure you don't buy shite because we look at the vehicle the way we would buy it for yourself. And even if it's a shite and it's been explained by inspector or by me, it is shite, you will need 5 grand spending. And if you can get this vehicle for free or for £100, I'm happy. I'm happy you're buying anything you like, because as long as you know, that's the point. You should have a choice. Inspection brings you a choice. You can make a rational choice whether the vehicle's overall condition and a fault found on the vehicle will suit your requirements, and whether you've been expecting that or not expecting that. You know, that's the main thing. You know, it builds the trust between customer, between the inspector, and between the salesperson. So once you bought it and something goes wrong, you know it's being checked thoroughly through. And obviously in reality you have to put a appropriate extended warranty, because in a way these used cars, something could happen unexpectedly. But at least you protected yourself, and you're not gonna blame the seller that he sold you shit car, right? Just be smart, you know, look at the things differently. Your bit of money for the price of battery, you can have a very solid peace of mind, you know. Vehicle comes out with any faults at the time of the inspection, or if it has faults, it's listed, and they can fix it and rectify it, instead of you buying it and start having arguments and problems, you know. You can't reject that car that easily. It's gonna be, trust me, it's gonna be your most miserable experience you would ever imagine, and you would say FO consumer rights, FO democracy, FO legal system, right? And it's reality, trust me. I've been there, I've done it, I've seen how people suffer, because everything starts because of stupidity, not checking the car, you know, simple. And then they're demanding your rights. You don't have rights. Seller has rights too, you know. Obviously they will play the game according, same way as you, a consumer, will try imagine faults, and you think you are you are a victim, right? You will play the victim deliberately, you know. Then they think, and you would think seller will do something for you. No, they will tell you FO, right? And they have a right to do it, you know. It's like any other business, because if you've been on a false pretenses, pretend the vehicle has problems, and you will deliberately making stuff up, and this is what we see too. You know, no one will treat you right. So don't expect here miracles. You know, remember, people ain't stupid when you want to lie, you know, and vice versa. So have a good day. Take care.